Welcome back. If you're new, this is part 4 of my collection Myths and Misunderstandings trilogy. I kind of fell into this by accident, and the response I've gotten so far has been overwhelming. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I honestly didn't think 20 people would want to listen to this. Collectively, this series has gotten over 13,000 views, and more than 190 people have clicked subscribe so far. It's not what I would call going viral, but it's better than what I expected. Let me know what you like and don't like about my videos in the comments. I try to respond to everyone. I want to give a shout out to new subscriber Freedom Rings. I thought it was a clever name. Kudos. I also want to give a shout out to viewer Fragging You for asking the question of the month, can your LexisNexis report be corrected? And if so, how? That is something I had never asked about personally, but as it turns out, that is something you can do. There's a link in the description to an article on how to do that. As always, I am not an attorney. This is not legal advice. This is just information I've learned in over 29 consecutive years in the collection industry, which I've been out of since 2016. Let me tell you about the time I got suspended for using profanity on a call, sort of. One day in 2015, I was working my call queue. I was having a discussion with a coworker sitting behind me. So when my call's voicemail answered, I went back on autopilot to turn around to finish my conversation. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I do remember saying, "Do you frickin' believe that?"
Only he didn't use frickin'.
Then the voicemail on my headset answered. I left my message and moved on to the next one and forgot about it. So I get called into the manager's office a week or so later, and he surprises me with, "Have a seat, listen to this." The main client we worked for was notorious for auditing our calls. And of course, they randomly picked this call. I felt extremely embarrassed and never wanted to be somebody and somewhere else so bad in my life. There was no denying it. It was right at the very beginning of the call, and they had to send a recording as is. The manager had to send me home for 3 days. At least it was something I didn't leave on a voicemail, but it was unprofessional behavior, and I should have known better. Wasn't a big financial deal to me at the time, as I recently started working part-time at a restaurant as a side hustle to try to pay off some debt myself. It could have ended much worse. The video we'll be looking at today is Never Pay Collections or Charge-Offs. It's from Noelle Randall. It's a 2-year-old video with nearly 500,000 views. She has 680,000 subscribers with nearly 1,000 videos on her channel. As I have done every other time, I reached out to Ms. Randall first to let her know she had some inaccuracies in her video, and she deleted my comment. Why not at least ask what issues I have a discussion, or at best just ignore me? Deleting my comment makes you look like you're trying to hide something. It's not a good look.
Never pay collections or charge-offs. Did you hear me? Let me say that again. Do you have bad credit and you're trying to fix it? Well, we are not going to be paying any collections or any charge-offs, but we are still going to fix your credit in a major way. I'm going to show you how. Let's go.
So right off, we're getting poor consumer spending advice. Everybody has different issues, and slapping a never pay charge-offs bandage on everyone is not helpful. The next 4 minutes of this video are her explaining how your FICO credit works with different types of accounts, which I am skipping entirely. I've edited other portions out for redundancy and for self-promotions that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. I've linked her video in the description lest anyone think I've taken anything she said out of context.
I have some charge-offs. So let me quickly tell you the difference though between a collection and a charge-off. So say for example, you have a credit card. Let's just use Capital One for example, because this was my situation. So I'm just going to use me. I'm not going to use anybody else. I had a Capital One credit card, in like 2002 or whatever. They gave it to me when I was like, 21 years old or whatever. And I used it. And then when I didn't pay it, they would call me all the time. And then, I didn't have the money, so I didn't answer the phone. And then eventually they sent it to collections. Okay. And that is after we call charged it off. So the company itself, okay, the Capital One company, they will keep calling me and trying to get that money. Eventually, if I don't pay them after, 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, every lender has their own, guidelines on how long they'll try to contact you and get money before they charge it off. Meaning, before they're like, okay, this is not collectible. Noelle is a deadbeat. She's not going to pay us. Let's just go ahead and let's just charge it off. And so what they do is they say, you know what? She's not giving us that $300. We're writing it off. It's a loss. Okay. And then they send it to collections. Okay.
Her credit card story sounds like many I heard over the years. She said she was 21 when she got this card. That will be important later.
Collections, okay? So there's collection companies and collection agencies. Probably you guys know what I'm talking about. And they will call you on old credit card bills and old cell phone bills and all this other stuff and try to get money from you. And the thing about it is you really need to understand this game because it is so important. They literally bought that debt for pennies on the dollar, okay? Collection agencies buy charged off debt. And then any of the money that they collect, they get to keep, okay? So once it's charged off, they bought the debt, and if they bought it for $15, like on a credit card, like say you charged off $300, they probably bought that debt for like $10, just being honest with you. So even if they got $20 from you, they got more than they would have gotten. But
This is not accurate. Just because an account reaches a charge-off status does not mean the account got sold. Some banks never sell their accounts. Those are placed on a contingency fee, which means the agency only gets to keep a portion of what they collect. Either way, whether bought or rented, the agency has a right to collect the account based on the user agreement you agreed to when you signed up for the card.
charge offs, and then kind of what happens, they charge the debt off and then they send it to a collections agency, and then that agency is essentially a new debtor, okay? Because they have purchased that debt. So here's the secret on how you maneuver this, okay, guys? And this is from real world experience, not only from my own bad personal credit, but from me being a vice president at some of the largest banks, okay, and working in mortgage and finance. I know this stuff. I'm not just telling you. Additionally, I have a master's degree in economics from Penn State, and I have an MBA from Baylor, all right? So I am not just telling y'all stuff. Noelle knows this stuff in and out.
Remember a few minutes ago when she said she was 21 when she got that card? Well, wouldn't that put her about a year or so away from getting her master's in finance from Penn State? If an outside company buys a debt, that makes them a new creditor, not a debtor. A former vice president of a bank with an MBA from Baylor should know this.
This stuff in and out. The lender that has charged you off or has, put you in collections, they have the burden of proof, guys, okay? So now that they have reported this to your credit report, all right, and this is on your credit report, you can dispute those things and they have to prove that it's you. And the key to this is you don't have to actually ever say that it's you. So when they call you on the phone, the collection agency is calling like, hey, I have this Capital One bill and you didn't pay them this, that, and the other. Can I speak to Noelle? I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. Click. And I hang up. I don't even talk to them, okay? I do not ever admit that it's me. I don't have to admit that that's my credit card. I don't have to admit anything. The burden of proof is on them. So
this is all over the place. She's telling you to dispute a bill, but then to never answer the phone. She keeps talking about the burden of proof is on them. Which them is she referring to? The original creditor or the third-party agency? Burden of proof of what? She said you can dispute those things and they have to prove it's you. The key is to never answer the phone and say it's you. Okay, so how do you dispute the bill? You can do it via snail mail. They have to have your current address and such in order to send the proof that they are under the burden of to prove it's your account. You can't just dispute an account anonymously. How would that even work? Again, a former vice president of a bank with all these degrees should know this. Also, that is a complete misrepresentation of how an actual collection call would go. They certainly would not blurt out account information and then ask to speak to the debtor. Also, telling a collection company that they have the wrong phone number when that is not correct is not a good idea. For more information on this, see 628 of my previous video.
In the world do not know. Don't answer their calls. Do not admit to the debt. Do not do any of those things, okay? Because what you are doing, unfortunately, if you do admit and you get on that recorded line, because they always call you from a recorded line, right? Am I right? I know. Click that little. Let me get some comments below. How many have gotten that call? You're on a recorded line. Yeah, okay, bye. I'm hanging up. Do not talk to them on that recorded line because now they have you. So if you're trying to fix your credit and you have these situations, the last thing that you want to do is say, yeah, I did it. It's me and I didn't pay. Because at that point, now we don't have the wiggle room. And of course, Noelle is not a lawyer. I told you all those degrees I have. I never told you I was a lawyer. So, you can talk to your attorney, but I know the laws. And the law is they have the burden of proof. And I also know the law is you would have to admit and confirm that that debt is yours. And I am telling you unequivocally, You don't have to do that.
Just admitting you are you does not mean someone has you. This goes back to the last clip. What law are you citing exactly? And again, with the burden of proof. You can keep playing games and never admit to being you, but if you owe a big enough account, all they have to do is get you served. And then what? Again, admitting you are you does not admit to the debt. And again, you have to admit to being you to dispute the debt. And why is she asking for comments if she's just going to delete them?
Paying that company for that old debt, you would be better off to pay a credit restoration company instead of paying that. Okay? I literally have paid for credit restoration, and I'm not talking about credit repair. That's something different. And again, I have a great credit restoration company called Creative Credit Solutions. Again, I'm not being paid any money for this. This is just a company I've used. He's a good friend of mine that owns the company, Justin, and he's amazing, and he's helped lots of people, lots of my clients, and he has helped me. Okay? So you want to make sure if you have issues or if you're wanting to pay a little bit of money to settle these debts, instead of selling and giving them that money, you could give it to a company and they can get all of this cleaned up and get you a really good credit score fast.
At the very beginning, she said she was going to show us how to fix our credit in a major way. I didn't see any major fix. I thought a master's degree in economics would allow her to show us something. Instead, we only get a referral to a friend of hers. Could someone please explain the difference between credit repair and credit restoration? And as far as paying someone to settle your debts, you can do that yourself. The magic number you want to shoot for is 40%. If you can get it less than that, great. 40% was about as low as those other companies could get back when I was doing this. Not to mention that you have to pay a fee based on the amount that you save. Save your money and negotiate yourself. If it's too much for you to handle, then hire the companies. Frankly, I don't find anything useful in this video, and I would not recommend it. As of September of 2023, I have yet to hear back from any of the other people from my other videos. I wonder if I ever will. So that will end this video. Hit the like and share button if you think this is at all useful. If the responses keep going up, I'll do some more of these. Let me know what you think. A few months ago, I posted a video that said I would get a haircut if I hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you like my content and would like to see me get a haircut live stream, help me hit 1,000 subscribers. They have to have your current address and such in order to send the proof that they are under the burden of to prove it's your account. Dang it, I'm still stumbling all over this.